Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's they made what into a TV series, Shenmue the animation, episode 4, Shackles. We are making our way through it, flying through the first game, and we begin as we always do with Shenmue in a cave, and I'm like, oh, prophecy this, prophecy that. God, the game wasn't this freaking egregious, but then boom, a wild landee appears. I was doing Pokemon in my head
Yeah,
because it is a bit like that. It's a bit like he
yeah.
pops up, and it turns out it's just a dream that Rio's having. Cut to Rio now trying to find a way to Hong Kong. He's in a travel agency, but the ticket costs too much money. Ah, it's very video gamey. Did like this. But interesting, there's a really strong, clever thing here. Took me ages to clock what he was doing here. I didn't clock it till later episodes. He's walking along with a book, constantly reading out of it. And in fact, we see him trying to use that book to speak Mandarin. He's trying to learn
Mhm.
Mandarin for his trip to Hong Kong, which is going to make a lot more fucking sense of how he's going to exist and survive in Hong Kong. Now, don't get me wrong. He learns Mandarin really quickly, and that's
Yeah,
wildly difficult language. But at least they're doing. At least I actually noticed it here.
yeah, because obviously in the game, obviously it never really explained how he goes from Chinese, Japanese to
Don't you need?
this
Yeah,
language. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like everyone speaks English as well, so that's a problem too in that fact. But
Mm.
before we get to Hong Kong, we have to do one of my favorite game scenes. It's Fukasan and his piggy bank. What a nerd. Here it's done in a less silly way, and Rio still comes up short for the cost of the tickets. Did you notice the two cassette tapes from the game in the scene? Flower Girl and Go Go are here.
Yeah. If only Fukusan knew that I spent all his money in toy capsules every time. Uh,
Yeah, because it's pointless keeping the money in it for the ticket
yeah,
because you won't go to Hong Kong that way.
yeah.
It's time to get a job. So Rio goes to the harbour and runs into Goro, and this is full yo bro mode.
Mm.
Right, this is one of the biggest flaws in the game. The game did a terrible job of explaining why Goro goes from when you first meet him, a bully tries to attack you, to yo bro, to like that character. A terrible job. Here, though, they do a much better job because he basically says, look, I respect you. I think that he's working for Master Chen. And look, I'm going to help you because, I respect that side of things. We see Mai earlier on, and it appears that Goro and Mai are very friendly, and through them learns about the Alpha Trading Company who are hiring. It's a
Yep.
lot better done. It's a lot better done. But I
Yep.
did miss, and this is the problem, this doing it in Japanese. I did just miss that yo bro was that terrible voiceover.
Every time there was like a scene in the game, you'd hear his little music. It would like the music play. And they'd
Yeah,
be
it's
like,
like popular. Yeah. Yeah, he was a really odd character in the game and really poorly explained. So the show
yeah.
definitely improves that. The next scene, we see Rio talking with the manager of the freight handling division of the Alpha Trading Company. He's an NPC in the game. And Rio gets a job. And Mark, remember Mark, the really random American guy in it? Like he's one of two black characters. Yeah, is it
Yeah,
him and Tom?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other black characters, is there?
No, I don't think so.
No. Wait, no, isn't the boss of the Mad Angels? No, boss of the Mad Angels. So yeah, there's three.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so there's a few actually, but yeah, Mark's one of the sort of ones that actually feels like a should have been a bigger deal in the game. And the show tries to make it slightly something more, but they can't do much with it either.
yeah,
But anyway, Mark's called over to show Roy the ropes. And Mark's really moody, doesn't really want to talk to Rio, kind of shows him a half-ass, shows him some of the forklift basics, and then's like, yeah, whatever, bruv, you're on your own. And then we see Rio working the forklift. He just can't quite get the hang of it. And I was like, mate, I could have showed you the freaking ropes.
yeah.
I could have
Lies,
done
man.
that stuff, you know? Yeah, it is quite funny that we actually get forklift stuff going on here. But I'm
Mhm.
surprised they left out the forklift racing and they didn't find a way just to throw in a brief little forklift race.
Yeah, so they should have done at least one. Yeah,
At the end of the day, Rio tries to thank Mark, but Mark's like, whatever, bruv. And then
yeah,
Goro comes along and offers to show Rio around the harbour. This is Mad Angel's territory, so Rio has to tread lightly. But he does explain a chalk number on the ground, which is the way for those in the harbour to tell each other about vacant warehouses to hang out in. Now we're going to get to questions I have about this. that relate to the game as much as they do this show.
Mm.
Because meanwhile, Guzang is thinking about Rio's commitment to his father and his own relationship with his father. Speaking of which, Master Chen appears and Guzang's like, why am I no longer having to follow Rio? And Master Chen points out, well, look, Rio discovered a Phoenix mirror. We can't afford to get involved any further. It would only escalate tensions, basically. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Rio continues to work, struggling to get the crates in the right place while being watched by Mark. After that, we see Nozomi. We go to Nozomi to find him at his home, but only she goes to see Rio at his home, but finds out from Fukusan that Rio is working at the harbour now. Another work day done. Mark observes Rio and go talking, with the latter telling the form about his dad leaving home and never coming back. All right. Cheers, Goro. Bit much, but Goro, having heard what happened to Rio, is actually in admiration of the way in which Rio won't give up. And basically, Goro's been inspired to maybe one day find the courage to go out and find his dad. And we can see that Mark, watching this, is surprised by all of this as well. So yeah, there's an extra depth to Goro.
Yeah, I mean, in the game, they couldn't really go that deep and explain this. So I'm glad they had a bit more deep into it, because obviously with Mark, obviously in the game you find out that his brother was killed by the Mad Angel and stuff like that. So
yeah, eventually, yeah. And here they want to speed it up, so to do it that basically. Mark doesn't like or trust basically Rio. Not thinking he's a plot, but rather that he thinks he's just a kid here to earn some money. So why really bother? And I'm also like, don't be so judgy, Mark. Like, you're doing a forklift job because you're passionate about forklifts. No, you're there to earn money. Just because you're there to investigate your missing brother doesn't mean everybody else has to be there for that same reason. And it's really judgy on Mark's side.
I always thought maybe he was suspicious, like maybe he was a Mad Angel spy or something.
But then say that. In fact, the whole Mark thing is dropped in the show and in the game. Because Rio wants to meet the Mad Angels and ask Goro for help. But Goro's like, bro, why'd you want to do that? Rio tells him they'll connect to the father's death, and this surprises Goro and Mark. On his way home, Rio runs into Guzang again. It's another fight, but Rio loses. But this time, it's about learning a move, the swallow dive. This is directly from the game. And Guzang, after teaching it to Rio, tells him, look, if I was in your shoes, I would do the same thing to avenge my father. So he actually admits that, look, I get it. The next scene is in bar MJQ, and Terry has found out where Rio is working. Well, no shit. Don't you run the harbour at night? Like, it shouldn't have been that hard to find. Okay, right. It's going to come up, all right, in a moment. Rio has run into Nozomi and they talk, and it's clear the distance between them is growing. I actually love this scene because later at home we see the conflict Nozomi feels about leaving, but it looks like her mind is about to be made up. The game kind of glosses over this. This show does a much better job of showing the distance growing between them and how he forces her mind really more than anything else. And now I think in the game it's kind of just abrupt and not really given a lot of time, particularly as a lot of the interactions with Nozomi aren't story based. You can miss them.
Yep.
And then she's going.
Obviously, they spend virtually every day going to school together. They're always seeing each other. So
now, the stuff in the park as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't go to that park, if you just go do the mission back home, boom, 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 you're going to miss a lot of this.
You go to that park once in the game, and that's to show that old lady where the Yamamoto house is, and that's it.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Right, the next day back at the harbour, Rio is still struggling to stack crates correctly. Listen, bro, in the game, it didn't care that much. It did make me laugh that it's only slightly off kilter. Yeah, but there you go. But this time, Mark intervenes and helps him. In the next scene, we see Goro and Mai at the florist shop where Nozomi is working. Goro is buying some flowers for Rio's dad's grave. Love this extra Goro stuff. This makes the character feel more important. When they're talking, he's talking to Mai, arguing with Mai. But Nozomi overhears Rio's intentions to get involved with the Mad Angels and the fact that they're very dangerous. Elsewhere, Mark is getting the crap beaten out of him by some Mad Angels, and Rio saves him. And that's just like the game. This is where Rio learns that Mark thought that Rio was just another kid looking for some quick cash to goof around with, but he realizes that Rio isn't like that. Mark said, look, he didn't come to the harbour just to earn money either, that he came to find his little brother and that he heard his brother join the Mad Angels. And that's it, folks. That's as far as this goes. But to be fair, the game does exactly the same. Like, I never fully understand why they just don't reveal, like, in the game, like, I know you can say fill in the blanks, but, like, reveal that his brother was killed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there you go. So Mark gets closure, I guess,
Yeah, so it implies it that's
heavily.
Well, it never actually comes out that he was killed.
No, no, it
So,
never does. And the show's the same as well. Meanwhile, Nozomi has been digging around and asking questions about the Mad Angels, which results in her being grabbed by them. This is brand new to the show. In the game, we never actually see how Nozomi gets grabbed by the Mad Angels. But
yeah,
we do get a great scene that follows it, because Rio learns about this when he returns home, and he's confronted by one of the goons outside the front gate, the one on the motorbike. It's basically, look, yeah, no, he's a proper goon. Yeah, if you want to see her again, go to Warehouse 17. And he goes to drive off, and I love how Rio gets the bike here. Now, we obviously couldn't do the way the game works here, because that's boring. But here, he just hoofs this guy, like he leathers this guy off the bike and then steals it. And I'm like, that was good. I like that.
yeah,
The next scene, we see Rio arriving at Warehouse 17 where Terry awaits. And Rio informs Terry, look, I'm not actually connected to Master Chen, but Terry's like, well, you're going to have to prove it to us. If you want her back, you're going to have to kill Guzong. Nozomi's going to stay with us, kill Guzong, prove yourself to us, and then you can have her back. Now, this is a deviation from the game, because, of course, in the game, he gives Nozomi back, which I never understood in the game. Like, she's your hostage. Don't give your hostage back. I suppose
yep.
your argument could be, well, we can just grab her again. We know where she is, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
With little choice, though, Rio, he does manage to distract some Mad Angels who are following him to take a leak, and using that, he changes the chalk number on the ground to Warehouse 17, and you can pretty much work out he's hoping to send a message to someone like Goro. And then it's fight time as we get a scene where Rio confronts Guzang. Guzang is obviously very confused, and it ends with them both using a swallow dive and knocking each other out, much to Terry's joy, who thinks he's killed two birds with one stone, basically. Yeah, this is a messy one for me. It's flying through certain things, but it also, because it's bringing the Mad Angels into it, it highlights some of my flaws about the Mad Angels in the game as well. So the
Yeah,
whole Mad Angels at the harbour thing, right, was always very confusing, in the sense that the harbour is a place of business, yet they apparently control it at night. Yet there are guards walking around. Like, I don't understand how that works. But also, there's so many Mad Angels around. Like, obviously, there's the whole big fucking fight at the end of the game. Like,
yeah.
how are they staying hidden? How are they so powerful? All they appear to be is a biker, a gang. Like, I don't get a lot of it. I never got it in the game that well either. And here, I think it's highlighted again. Like, in the show, at least it goes out of its way to not show as many guards. It's kind of just a guard at the front gate, and I guess
Yeah.
that's it. But in the game, like, they're walking around all the time, you get caught. How the hell does the Mad Angels operate? What's the purpose of the guards?
You can only think that they've been paid off, like to some sort of payments or blackmail stuff like they're
Yeah,
part
which
of a
is fine,
squad.
but I'm just saying it was a problem I had in the game,
Yeah.
and the show just highlights it again, you know?
Mm.
But other than that, this is a nice little neat way to continue the story and get us to the end part. I was a bit like, hold up, this is 13 episodes long. This is episode 4, and I was like, episode 5 has got to be the finale of the first game, right? We can't drag this out much further,
I
because
think
this
it
is
makes
kind
sense.
of the end of the game.
I think it makes sense that there's more episodes for number two, because obviously number two is a much bigger game and a
Bigger
lot
game,
more,
yeah.
information.
A lot more going on. I agree. I 100% agree with that. But it was interesting the way, I think they've done a good job. I still think they've done a good job of basically keeping this telling Shenmue's story, particularly the first game, which is harder to adapt, including a ton of references, but also just adding a little bit more detail. But some elements I don't get, right? So you're going to give Goro all this extra stuff, right? Cool. But why not then do it with Mark?
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, it's still an enjoyable watch. I'm enjoying it.
Yep. So mine, Dave.
Show me the animation, episode 4, Shackles. You got any thoughts on this you want to share? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.